Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels. My co-host Patty and me, Lee. Tonight we're going to be speaking with Theresa Cannizzaro from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And we'll be talking to her about a few things. I hope everybody has had a great week from last week to now. I'm ready for the weekend to be here already.
Me too.
Patty is away this week. She's south. So we're in 2 different locations tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. And anything good going on there, lady?
Well, let's see. I know I was gloating because it was nice and comfortable and warm down here in lovely South Carolina. And when I left to go to dinner, I realized it has gotten a little chilly. So, still probably better than what you're dealing with at home, but especially since the sun went down. I don't know, it's probably 50 degrees now. I'll take a look.
Well,
It's 56.
right now it's clearing up here, and it is 45, and it's going to get down to 39 tonight. And we're going to see more sun tomorrow at a high of 55. So we're going in the right direction, because
Good
by
deal.
the time Saturday comes, we're going to be back in the 70s.
Very nice.
So when you come home, of course, 70 degrees.
That's fine. What's up, Judy? I see you waving over there.
Let me go into the chat. Hello, Judy.
Yep, it came through on my side as Facebook.
Yeah, I'll go into the chats now. Yeah, Teresa will be joining us here soon. This past weekend, Patty and I actually went to a really cool place. And she had kicked major butt on this. This is a school. Hey, Roger, how are you, buddy? This is a school in Dayton, Stivers School for the Arts.
Yeah.
And we got there about 6 o'clock. And Patty thought it was just, since she took the reign and ran with it, she thought it was just going to be like a meet and greet and go over the event that we're doing there November 2nd. But it turned out I'm glad we took some equipment, and we did a mini investigation with the staff and some of the parents. And we were there for almost 4 hours. So they really, truly believe in the spiritual world. There is a lot of activity in that place. And I would have to say, for my personal experiences in there, that place was very active, and it's in my top 3 of so far that I've investigated in almost the 30 years I've been doing this. Because we started, and they said, we have a tunnel. Like, oh, wow. And now this building, before it was a school, it was a bomb shelter.
Fallout shelter. Yep.
Yeah. And so they said, we have a tunnel for that. And over the years, they've used that tunnel for conduit for wiring and things like that, and piping for water and add-ons, because the school has been renovated and added on over the years. So the school was built in 1908, and we started in the tunnel, and the guide and Patty, then me, and then there was a few ladies behind me, and I'm holding the SLS, and I'm trying to go up. We had to go under pipe, slide down pipe, up pipe, and then get on platform. And as we're there, we're going around a corner, and as soon as I saw this is no joke, people, there was a shadow that started casting itself on the left side of Patty and the man in front of her, and it came directly to me. And as it got to me, it felt like it just grabbed my throat, and I couldn't say anything for at least 5-10 seconds. And then I finally caught my breath, and I said, the first thing I said was, "What?" I can't go no I can't go no farther.
Yep.
I literally had to stop and go back, and they had plenty of time to go through, and I met them out in the hallway. A lady went with me. And that was very, very real. I knew it was a male figure. I couldn't tell facial expressions or anything like that. Uh, but being an empath, I feel things. I know when the spirits are around me. I know changes of atmospheres and things like that. It's like, 9-volt battery, of course. As it gets closer, it gets stronger in charge. So back in, when you stick them on your tongue, that's how my body feels. And I've never had that experience before like that. That was very, very interesting. So, they took us through the whole entire school. Hi, Corey. And showed us some really cool places. And so, yeah, we're doing an event there. And that is...
It's November 2nd.
Yes. Anything you want to add on that?
Well, yeah, we will be part of their Day of the Dead event, which is a fundraiser for the school. And they'll be bringing tour groups through basically, and again, kind of having a little investigation with us. So since we've shared that, I've seen plenty of people now, oh, I need to get in there. Oh,
That is
I'm
true.
ready to go in. Well, they're not really opening up for investigations. So, unfortunately, and it was really great that we had that opportunity. And yes, it was supposed to just be a meet and greet and kind of plan for that event. And
Yes, that was a wild child.
I had said I wanted to bring some of the equipment along because they were unfamiliar with it.
So, Patty read my mind, before. She goes, what do you think on taking? And I was like, well, definitely the SLS, because that is a public thing for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the case that has a lot of like trigger objects, and it's got the PSB7 Pro in it. And that really did well. We actually, I think we frightened a few of them, and we woke them up. And then at the end of the little session, what blew me away is like the principal. She, the guy that led us through the entire night, he wanted me to meet her, and he wanted to share to her the energy that I was feeling through the school. And he took me back in this room, and she has like several rooms back there, and it's really cool. And she took me back into this little hallway, and this hallway has mirrors all on one wall. And she goes, her beliefs is that all those mirrors right there will stop dark entities from coming, because she says when they see themselves, they turn around and leave. So I went into this room, she turned the light on, and the whole room, except one wall, 3 walls, was covered in crucifixes from all over the world. And as she was sharing that, I said, so you believe in the spiritual world, I see. And do you feel that this is keeping everything at ease? Because like I says, just from what you're sharing and what I'm picking up from your energy, I feel like you've had some major experiences here by yourself. And she goes, yes, I have. And then she says, your energy is strong, by the way, because I can feel it. And I said, I feel yours, and I know what you're going through. And then she showed a wall with masks from all over the world. And she said the one on the very top, when she hung them up, that was the first one, but she had it dead center on the wall. And she put all the other different style masks around it. And the morning she came in, she said the mask in the middle was standing still there, but all the ones around it was on the ground. She said the one in the middle, which is now on the top, has strong energy. And now she's got it off to the side, and the others are all together. So it was a really cool visit. I do look forward to going back and doing that. Bob says, what does Bob say here? It always blows their mind when the truth. Yes, it does. And I want to make sure everybody chat, everybody that chimes in. Yes, Scooby-Doo, of course. I love this shirt. $5. Bought it at Walmart. What can I say? The inner child always lives. But yeah, that was that. And then this weekend, we're having a sleepover. My buddy Jimbo's coming up on Friday because we're going to be leaving bright and early in the morning to head to Peru, Indiana to see a bunch of our friends at the Para Unity 6. We're setting up a booth. Really don't do vending, but we're setting it up. We'll have some things there, but we'll just be talking to a lot of people and sharing our stories and, networking with other people. That's what it's all about, Para Unity, right? So we'll be there and we'll be meeting up with our good friends. Theresa said she's trying to get on and my computer is being dumb.
Yeah,
Try you can do your phone too, Theresa, because all you do is the link and it'll just ask you to add your name and then I'll just invite you in. Bob, yes. We'll be meeting up with Bob and Denise. Yeah, Bob and Denise will be meeting up with them and our good friend Sean Coletta, which he started a podcast of his own. And then he just recently, another thing he blew up is he's got a digital magazine called Para, All Things Paranormal. And that is phenomenal. And you know what? I cheer everybody on. I want everybody to succeed. So congrats on your new endeavor, however you want to say that. Endeavor.
Yes.
Hey, Jackie's in. Haven't seen Jackie in a while. How are you? So we'll be there. And then we got invited from some others from Denise and Bob. We're going to be going to Asher Walton House in Atlanta, Indiana that night. Okay. Let me send this to her, guys. Patty, talk away for a second.
I'll do my best, but every time you tell me to talk away, it doesn't happen. So
go ahead.
So yeah, we are looking forward to the Asher Walton House because I've never been there. It looks beautiful, so I'm excited to do that. And I'm extra excited because Jim will come with us. And, like you said, sleep over at our house with old Jim, road trip. It's kind of like the old days, feels like. We used to do that a lot, road trip with the team. And, used to be, I would be driving and getting us pulled over. And actually, that was just one time. So.
Doing well. Yeah, and you know what? And I'm going to add to Patty there. When we used to do road trips, we had a song that we loved to do. And everybody's got their pump, their energy, their song they want to play. And to get you going into your investigation mode. And we like old school Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. That got us pumped and ready for the next investigation. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Theresa. She is here. I see her.
Finally.
She made it.
Hey. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was chaotic trying to get here.
Yeah, because I asked Patty.
Being so dumb.
I was asking Patty before she chimed in because she's out of town. I was like, hey, when you do StreamYard, she goes, it just asks for your name.
What's going on with my hair?
So
I'm here.
Yeah, you ladies and your hair.
I swear to God. I got on my computer and I was like, oh no, it didn't have Chrome, it's an older MacBook, and I'm trying to download it and I'm totally panicked, and then it didn't want to, I don't know, it was and then getting on Facebook, it didn't want to download old messages, and so I'm going into my phone and here, and I'm but I'm here. We're here.
Well, you made it. Fine. Yeah, you're here now.
It's how my week's going, so it's okay. It's all right. We'll get there.
Well, hey, welcome to our show. We really appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We were talking about, this weekend coming up, and if where we're going to be, you're hosting this. I didn't share a lot about some people that's watching that may not know you. But we'll start with, you have a team called Three Rivers Investigative Paranormal Society, which short for TRIPS Paranormal.
Yep.
And how long now, did you start the team or did?
No, I didn't. I slid into their DMs. Literally. Yeah. So when I moved out to Indiana, there wasn't a TAPS team here. And that made me really sad because I had been with TAPS since, I think, 2011, I want to say, out in San Diego. And so when I moved here, I was like, well, I guess I'll fly back if they get any good cases, out in San Diego. And and so I just kind of, I investigated with a few other teams, and I led a couple teams into our building here and there over the years. And then through, the TAPS Facebook group with all the family teams, when they announced, please welcome the Indiana team, I was like, ooh, hey guys, you don't know me. I don't know you. However, I've been in this game for a really long time. I've been with TAPS for a really long time. You want to meet up? And then
it took off from there, huh?
Yeah.
And so they're a genuine team. I love talking to all of them. They're really great people. Because we're an Ohio TAPS team. And before
we're neighbors.
Yeah, right. So before TRIPS came, we were actually doing things for Ohio and Kentucky and Indiana. And so now we've got some TRIPS there now. And so it's going to be cool. The Peru, Para-Unity 6 in Peru, it's going to have 2 TAPS teams there
awesome.
that I know of. And and it's not, TAPS, even though they don't have a show going on right now, they're still a family. And
a lot going on.
And they do. And, and I still get emails about cases, and then I try to call these people, and usually it's just a phone call, and it helps that person. And then I give them my information and say, hey, if you need us, call me. And because I can kick Jason's butt for sending me one time about a guy swore up and down his toe was haunted by his mother.
Oh no.
And I think Jason thought that was a joke. And so I talked to this guy, and this guy had the mindset of an engineer. So I'm like, oh God, I'm not getting nowhere with this guy. And he's in Cincinnati, and he said that his mother had passed away several years ago. And when he is getting comfortable in the evening before bedtime, he says that my big toe starts to feel warm. And he goes, I know that's my mom. And I'm like, well, that is awesome. And I said, is it always your big toe? And he goes, yes. And then he started explaining when he goes to bed, he says, when you was young, mom would always tuck you in before you go to sleep. And he goes, that's what it feels like when I go to sleep. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And and he goes, well, I'd really like for you to come out. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Is the house haunted? No, it's just my toe. I would just like for their film crew to come out and just talk to me about it. I'm like, well, that's not how this works, because I said, you got to go through people like us first.
Yep.
And I said, I can't do nothing about your toe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting case, right?
And
there's
a lot of those.
Yeah, we get those crazy ones, right? And it's like, but there's so many shows, and they watch it on YouTube now. A lot of shows are on YouTube and things like that. New streamings out there, and when these people have issues in their home, they automatically want to jump to paranormal. When you find out it's usually just family issues or stress or finances or medication causing the hallucination and all these things. So how long have you been in the paranormal, Theresa?
Oh, good question. Early 2000s, so like a little over 20 years.
Okay.
Really, yeah. I've been in the game a long time. Even really before I started dabbling, kind of a buzzword. even before, I mean, I was really interested. Like, I didn't have any experiences as a kid. Like a lot of people, that's what got them into it. Like, you know, they grew up in a haunted house. I did not. Like my grandparents' house used to kind of creep me out, but that's just because like they lived in a literal mansion. So it just was big and, you know, made me nervous, but I don't think it was haunted. My grandma told me years later that they had a residual haunting there, that she would hear sounds like every day at a certain time, but that was long, like when I was an adult, she told me that. But it wasn't until we went on a trip and drove through Tombstone, Arizona in the early 2000s on our way to Texas to visit family, and you know, kind of went through, saw the Birdcage Theater, and that's when I kind of got bit by the paranormal bug and was like, oh, but I didn't really know, you know, a lot about it because it was very much taboo, you know, early 2000s, late 90s, like nobody talked about it because it was weird. Like, you're weird, like you're the weird people. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of interesting, colorful people in this field. And so, you know, you didn't really talk about it. You're very careful with who you talked about it. And, you know, so I joined a local meetup group in San Diego, and we would meet in a park once a month on a Sunday afternoon and just talk about stuff. And it was very much, I just, you know, started reading books, and there weren't even a lot of books out, you know, then. And so I met a couple other women, and we just started like, have you ever done this before? No. Have you done this before? No. Like, let's try to see, you know, and there wasn't even like really much equipment out. Like the first K2 meter hadn't even come out yet, you know, it was like all brand new, you know, and, you know, so we didn't really even know what we were doing at the time. And, you know, night shot cameras like weren't even a thing yet. And, you know, so we would just go to Old Town San Diego, which, you know, then became like my old stomping ground, paranormal. And, you know, for years and years and years, you know, and we just started investigating and figuring it out. And then we just fell in love with it, and then started investigating more and more and more and more and more, and kind of formed a little team. I remember our first team we formed, we were called the Paranormal Free Agents, which is so funny because we were like, we're not going to be tied to a team. That's weird. Like, we're going to do our own thing and this and that. And then, you know, of course, Ghost Hunters hits the scene in 2004, and we're like, like we can talk about this now. Like, ooh, this is cool. You know, and then, you know, Ghost Adventures and all of that. And I was actually there, a friend of mine and I were there when Ghost Adventures filmed in San Diego, in Old Town. We were tipped off because a friend of ours was interviewed for their episode. So we kind of hung around down there, and that's where we kind of learned, oh yeah, they don't really lock down all night long. But it was, I mean, we got to hang out with them like in between filming, so that was kind of fun. But that was when Jay Wosley and Billy Tolley were on the production crew. Like, they weren't even a part of the team, so we hung out with them. But this was, you know, gosh, 2007, I want to say 2000. I don't even remember. But anyway, and so then it was 2000. I want to say it was 2011. Yes, there's a ghost behind me. There's actually. That way.
I see a few.
Actually, if I pan this, there's a whole couch full of ghosts behind me. Yeah. I have a problem with the ghost pillows. There's probably about 15 or so ghost pillows.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's like a hanging, I don't know which way I'm going, hanging string of ghosts. And this is backwards. The camera's backwards and whatever. Anyway, so I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011. We hosted a paranormal, a maritime ghost conference. It wasn't a convention; it was a conference aboard the Steam Ferry Berkeley in the San Diego Harbor, and it was basically just an afternoon where we talked about ghost stories and like maritime things, and you know, I gave a little talk about, I don't even remember what it was so long ago. And then I led one of we did 2 nights of investigations on the ship, and I led one of the nights. And at that time I didn't know, but there was like a TAPS team there. I didn't know at the time. And then that's kind of how I got scouted and asked to join their team. And then just kind of snowballed from there. So that's kind of how I got jumped into the TAP network. And now they can't get rid of me.
We're forced into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a good force though.
It really is.
It is.
I love the network. It's been such a blessing, and all the people I've met, and I really like the things they stand for, and the morals and the values and things that they have within the network. It's been really good.
It is, and and it's not easy to become a team member of the TAPS.
No.
And there is a lot of stuff you got to go through. I mean, it is like getting a job at the military base. They do background checks. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff on you, and every team member that you have. But it's nice, I mean, they trust you, and you represent them. So not just your team, but them. And
I mean, we're no better. We're not any other team or any other investigator out there. We just, have to follow the regulations, and
because I treat every client the same. If it's a residential to a a business, whatever, it's the same. We're going to do everything we can to help them out. And I tell them, if I don't have the answers, I'm going to reach out for those somebody because I've got a lot of sources behind me. It's called the paranormal community. Somebody's going to help me.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing, and that's like this Para-Unity. You're hosting this weekend. And I'm sure that is a lot to get together. And now you're down to the final days.
Yeah. We're in survival mode right now.
Yeah. So some champagne definitely on that day, right?
Yeah, we're getting there. I was talking to some friends of mine today, and they're like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm sure I'll forget something or something. I don't know. It's fine." At this point, I'm like, you know what? We're as ready as we can be, and I'm sure everything won't be perfect, but you know what? We're gonna have fun no matter what, and it'll be all right.
And you're gonna have, and there's gonna be over 55 vendors there.
Yeah, I think it's actually more than that. I mean, the numbers kind of go up and down, and we've had some last minute additions and cancellations, and you know how it goes. So we'll see. But I mean, it's every year it's been, growing. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So you guys will definitely, if come out there, you're gonna meet all kinds of cool people doing different things. Patty and I went last year. We walked around, and it's 2 buildings. I mean, and that it's packed of vendors, and it was a good time, and we look forward to being part of it this year. I mean, you got paranormal teams, you've got haunted locations, you got metaphysical shops, stuff like that. So whatever walks of paranormal, different things that's there. They're having a costume contest. Which is cool.
I'm really excited about. I have 2 costumes.
You don't know which one you're doing?
I know. I'm probably just gonna change. I'm obviously not gonna be a part of the contest, but I just was like, I found the most random costumes I could find on Amazon and ordered them just for fun.
Yep, that's fun though. You're going to have the vendors are going to have a contest for the spooky tables.
Yes, we're so excited about that. This is actually Chuck's idea from our team. He was like, let's do a booth decorating contest to kind of get the vendors and all the people who have booths really involved this year. And my son is actually my oldest son right now. He got a new 3D printer, and he's making the trophy, and there's prizes to go along with that.
Cool.
But yeah, he's very excited that he's shown me mock-ups of this trophy he's making. It's really, really cute, and he's worked really hard on it. So I cannot wait until we can give it away to the winner, along with prizes and other things. So
yeah, I'm going to do it to our table, but I'm going to go this week and get some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, have some candy and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that Bob goes, is Ghoulie coming this year? Not.
I'll have to check. I don't know off the top of my head. My brain at this point is completely mush. No.
Yeah,
I should know the answer to that question. I'm not sure.
And if you're there, they're going to have food trucks there for food.
We have a couple food vendors coming. Mm-hmm.
And
I had
free. Yeah, admission. What? There's no fee for admission.
Yep, it's free to come.
Yeah, which is awesome because then you know, a lot of times you pay to get into somewhere and then your hands are tied a little bit with how much you can spend for books and treats and jewelry and crystals and equipment and, you know.
Oh, I'm bringing my cash.
Oh, I know. I've been saving up. I know. Yeah. I'm like, oh, man.
Last year, we were walking through, and I'm like, no. I said, no, I got to hold off. I'll walk through right now. But we did leave with stuff. I'm like, we'll go back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and the weather looks like it's gonna be beautiful on Saturday too. So fingers crossed.
Get through this nasty day we had today, because I went over to Connorsville today, and it started sleeting when I was leaving there about 12:30. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was like, what? It's crazy. And then I want to throw this out here. You put something on your Facebook yesterday, and congrats. That was awesome, with Haunted Discoveries, a new series called Family Spirits.
And that was a really hard secret to keep.
I bet, because you were at one of my favorite locations that I love going to, and Waverly Hills.
Yep.
And I don't want to. I'll let you share what else, because I did write a lot down, but I'll just let you.
Yeah, so it was funny how that all happened. So Brandon Alvis, buddy of mine, and he has done fantastic things for so many years in the paranormal. You know, he was on the Ghost Hunters show for a while, and him and Mustafa with Grant Wilson. And then he kind of started his own, the Haunted Discovery show with Mustafa and Kevin Ott, and a few others that's been on, you know, for a while now. It's such a fantastic show. And he had randomly posted something about being at Waverly, and I just commented like, hey, say hi to my great grandfather if you're there, because we recently learned, thanks to Ancestry, a couple years ago, that my great grandfather was more than likely a patient there. It was said kind of in passing that, you know, he had tuberculosis and that we have a family tied to the Owensboro area, and that he, you know, had TB and that he would have gone there very briefly, though. He did not die there, so there's no like death record of him being there. But we don't know how long he would have possibly been there. Could have been a few weeks, could have been a few months. We don't know. Might not have even been there at all. We're not completely sure, but it was just kind of said in passing, like, oh yeah, he was there. And we're like, what? You know? And then he went out west to Arizona, to like the Bisbee, Arizona, which again is kind of near Tombstone, which is another like kind of like family tie area. And then he ended up passing away from tuberculosis, because everybody kind of like thought, oh, well, you go out west where it's drier air for tuberculosis. And he ended up passing away 3 months after my grandfather was born. So after I learned that, so Waverly had always been like my number one, you know, everybody has, like when you first get into the paranormal, everybody has their like number one bucket list, and Waverly was always mine. Yeah. But, you know, living in San Diego, like it's so far away. So when we moved here and I realized, oh, it's only like 3.5 hours from, you know, where we live here, it was always on my list. And we had the opportunity to go last August for the first time. So I don't think I have the photo close to where I am now, but I can pull it up on my phone and hold it up. I literally ran around like a mad woman holding up the photo. I don't know if you can kind of see it if I get it close enough. He
Sharp dress suit there.
Yeah, so I was like walking around like, did you know my great grandfather, you know? And then we went back again in April of this year, because, you know, once you've been to Waverly, you know, everybody has that one location, and Waverly is that location for me. I mean, there's a few for me, but Waverly, you know, and you've been there, so you know, like the moment you get to even before you get to the gate, you feel it. You know, it's just
Feel it as soon as
you feel it, you're just like,
yeah.
Oh wow, like it's like, oh man, like that energy, it's a draw, it's a pull. It's like I have a dream about Waverly literally once a week. Like I just do. I dream about that place. It's such, and it's probably also because I'm also like, I work in the medical field, I'm a respiratory therapist, so the whole lung thing, like I have crappy lungs myself, so it's just, I don't know, it's just like the whole thing about it. So so I have this natural pull there for a lot of different reasons, but you know, so anyway, so I've been there a few times, and so Brandon had made a post about being at Waverly, and I was like, oh, say hi to my great grandfather. And so he says like, hey, I want to, you know, I'm working on this TV show. I want to jump on a call with you, you know, about family ties and this and that. And so I was like, like, I don't think I'd be a good fit because we don't know for sure, you know, if my great grandfather was actually a patient there, like it's probably not going to work for what you're looking for, but, you know, good thinking. And so we get on a call and he's like, well, actually, tell me about your house. And I was like, I see what you're doing. So we, you know, we get chatting and he explains the show. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. So without giving away too much, I traveled down to Waverly again, third time in a year, which I was like, not going to say no to that. So I go down a month ago and spent the day filming with them for an episode, which will be really cool because the way they're, you know, they're completely reinventing the paranormal TV and show wheel. And I said that to Brandon and Mustafa. I said, you know, I've been in this game for a really long time. I've seen a lot of different paranormal shows. And I said, what you were doing is so different and so needed in this field because no one else is doing it. And because they tie in my house, everything that happens at my house, but at Waverly with my family tie. And it's just the way they do it, it's just so unique and so special. And I just cannot wait to see the finished product. And so I don't have a date, but they just said, you know, 2025 is when the show will debut. And so I can't wait to see my own episode, all the other episodes that are going to be coming out. It's just going to be such a cool show to see all the different stories of people that have had, you know, the family ties and things. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. And just like, you know, Lisa said there, yeah, if you guys have been there, you know, Tina and Charlie, great people.
They're amazing people. They really
are. Do anything for you while you're there.
Yep. They really will.
When one of the times that we went, I've been there 5 times. And one of the times I was there, we got to the gate and Tina calls my phone and she goes, hey, I'm coming. I'm like 5 minutes away, but I'm going to have somebody, she's going to be staying with you, but I wanted to talk to you while you're there and I'll be there. So this lady shows up and she's standing at the gate. She unlocks the gate and then Tina comes in and we're just talking right there. All of us are out of our car and we had 4 cars and it was weird because when she left, she turned around and left. She didn't even go up to the building. The lady drives up and I'm starting to move, but 3 cars behind me, they could not get their car started. Their car would not start. I'm like, what's going on? I get out of my car. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Well, the one girl, she had a standard. So she said, I was afraid, you know, we're sitting at an incline. She goes, I'm afraid. And I was like, just go. I will move and you just go. And so she got going, but the other 2 cars would not start. And we were down there for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, guys, you're in my Waverly Hills time. Come on. And finally the cars got started. And we got up to the building. They turned them off. We're getting our equipment out. And I was like, go start your cars. See if they start. Started right up. I'm like, I said, it's going to be a good night. Because that night we actually took like a wheelchair. From that time frame, we had a doctor's outfit. We had nurse's outfit. I was in a gown. I was the patient. And that investigation that night, it was like a typhoon in that building. The lady down in the laundry room, she calls up on two-way, hey, is everything okay? Because the lights down here are flickering, and then they went off and they came back on. And she was saying this, and we didn't want to answer because we could hear voices down on the second floor, like people coughing, people screaming. And we had a TV crew there, local TV here in Middletown. And the guy goes, I'm filming this. And he says, I'm about to lay my camera down and run. He said, this is crazy. He said, what you're doing is reenacting what they went through. And it was weird because after that investigation, I felt weird for 3 days. There was a couple there that was married for a year. They got a divorce. It hit them when we did the reenactment, and it changed. I mean, but that place has so much, like you said, when I was driving up the hill, you're excited, but then when you start seeing the building, that's a rush. I mean, yes, we're here. This is it. Yeah. Doing everything we can, to get going. I'm ready. Yeah, that's definitely on your butt. If you've not been, you got to get a spot as soon as they open it up in January. Yeah. Because it goes quick.
It goes quick. It's expensive. Yeah, recommend expensive.
A week. Bob says Leah's never taken me there on a date night. Patty would kill me. She hasn't even been yet. No. But yeah, so that is a cool one. Equipment. I know you're like me. Equipment, you love your equipment. And I just ordered through Horn Paranormal Research. They make equipment for Shane Pittman, the Searchers. I bought a sweet XLS. It should be here, but it's not going to be here until Saturday when we're already there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I wanted a display. He made it. He was at Virginia City Paracon last weekend. Made it as a demo because it's its own kind. It's white, and I wanted it because it comes with some extra stuff on there. And he goes, "I'll give it to you for a good deal." So I bought it. I couldn't pass it up, and I was like, "Okay, I should get it by Saturday before we leave." No, I was like, "Dang, dang it!" But yeah, so on equipment, I want to ask, what is your favorite piece of equipment to take when on an event?
My camera.
My
camera. I'm a camera gal. Yep.
And that's a good one to have. I mean, because you want to capture as many exposures as you can. Do you take like it just slipped my mind. The Polaroid pictures. Do you have one of those? Do you use one of those?
No, I just use the video camera. I use the Canon XA11. It's the same one Jason uses.
Okay. And then, I did see this today, and Bob just says that the Epic box is now available on Amazon.
I saw that. I did see that today. I don't have one of those.
You got to get that because Bob's the one that got me to get one because we were at Monroe House and he had the one with no sound. And he goes, well, they got a new one now with the sound. And I'm like, really? So what do? I go home, after an investigation early in the morning. Oh, they have it in stock. Bingo. And it's a good piece of equipment to have. Yeah. I like the yes and no. Hey, look who's here.
Hi, hey, Sean.
Well, I was just talking about you at the beginning of the show that you'll be hanging with us on Saturday. I was telling them about your new podcast and your new magazine that you got coming out. So yeah, it's going to be so many good things people are doing, and I love it. Yeah, try them out. Definitely try the Polaroids out because I know like Aaron Goodwin, he loves using one of those. And then I'm watching. I've been hooked on Expedition X. Yeah, no, I love Josh Bates.
That's a great show.
They use that Polaroid, and it is so cool because the Polaroid is like an analog recorder. You're going to get what you get, right? You're not. People can't say, "Oh, a digital camera, you probably did something." You know, it's a phone app, or no, it's you get what you get.
Yeah.
So the camera, and then what would be your next piece of equipment that you would take?
Ooh, currently it would be Lauren's Nova.
That's on my. I got to buy that.
You got to buy it.
Yeah, she's coming on the show. She's coming on the show.
You can order one this weekend.
Patty, did you hear that? She's going to be there, and I'm going to have to buy that.
You don't need any encouraging. You're going to buy anything regardless.
Listen. Exactly. She's my best friend in the whole wide world, so I am going to absolutely recommend you buy all of her things. And have you seen what she's going to have this weekend, her special editions?
Well, hold on. Somebody just
phenomenal.
Stepped in right there.
Hi, Lauren. I'm just talking about your stuff right now.
Her ears are probably fired up.
I'm telling Lee Nova. Yes, you do.
We were talking about your equipment. She's your sales rep.
It's that best friend telepathy.
Your sales rep said we're just talking about your equipment. She said that's her camera and then one of your pieces of equipment.
That's so funny.
That is funny. And then as soon as you say it, there she pops up.
Funny how that works, Lauren. Are you surprised?
I was summoned.
I swear this happens all the time. I texted her the other day. I was at Michael's and I was asking for her opinion which skull thing to get for our new spooky bathroom that we renovated downstairs. And I was like, do I need this skull or do I need this skull that has a bat around it? And she literally sends me a picture of the exact same thing. She was in Michael's at the exact same time I was.
Well, you know, Patty loves that's one of her favorite stores as well, is Michael's. And I like going there, and I like Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, there you go, right? And Bob said something about Polaroids here. Polaroid Paranormal Beginning is actually on YouTube. Yeah, it's true. And it's cool, you know, because my uncle, when I was a teenager, we were dressing up for Halloween, and I wanted to dress up in the 70s clothes. And he goes, his son, we were going to a Halloween party. He goes, I've got you guys covered. He goes, I don't get rid of nothing. He goes, because all the fashions come back. Sure enough, he had a pair of bell bottoms that I wanted to wear. And I'm like, man. So, you know, now Polaroids are coming back, 35 millimeter. Yeah, all your stuff is here. It's just, it didn't go anywhere. It's just nobody used it. So now it's cool. Like when you go in to get your pictures, you know, and back in the day when I used 35 millimeter, I would take those in after an investigation to the pharmacy, and I'd say, hey, don't throw, because they used to throw away pictures. I was like, I want every picture. And she goes, I remember you last week when you came in, you told me it was for paranormal, and I threw away some stuff that I was like, yes, don't throw away nothing. I was like, please. And then what did Lauren say here? 90s is a literal costume. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sean goes, yes, I am. How do you know that I got bell bottoms on, Sean? I may not have anything.
Saturday.
There you go.
This is up when I leave town.
Lauren, don't believe that. Lisa said that her son and his girlfriend bought one to take on vacation. They did an album. And the photos do look good on the newer Polaroids. And I think the one that I did look it up because I'm watching like Ghost Adventures, and I stopped it and I got up real close to the TV, and I was going through real slow motion on errands, and I have it somewhere written down, and I'm like, yeah, he's got that kind of money to buy that. I can't afford that one. Like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that one was
they're
crazy.
expensive.
Oh yeah, they're high dollar. So Lauren's going to be there. Sean's going to be there. Bob's going to be there. Everybody should be there this weekend.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a fun time. I look forward to it. I'm that 70s show character. What is like, have you guys noted, what is like the popular costume for Halloween this year?
I don't know.
I know
I'm not a popular Halloween costume.
I know one of them is that Barbie.
I am random.
It's like Barbie in a box or something. I'm like, what? Yes, this weekend is going to be awesome. I look forward to it. It's going to be a fun time, and there, like I said, like people that's just joining. Perry Unity 6 is this weekend. Theresa and her team actually is the hosts for it this weekend, this year. She knows it's a lot to put on an event.
Sure is.
Hello. I know as well. Yeah, so but it's fun, and you just got to let it do its thing, And when the day comes, that's when you're like, oh no, everything's gonna be perfect. You want people to come into the door because you've got these vendors in here that all their stuff that they made, and you want them to leave and say, yes, this was a great weekend.
Yeah.
So that is definite. So I understand. And I'm sure you advertise that like in the community, or does the fairgrounds help you with that as well? Do they put something up in their like website?
I think so. We've contacted like the Chamber of Commerce out there in that county.
That's awesome.
A lot of social media, a lot of advertising in different groups, and just word of mouth, and a lot of different people blasting it out everywhere, and just kind of that kind of stuff.
And it's like this kind of stuff. It's word of mouth too.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing the post and writing some stuff to boost it up. I'm going to after tonight, I'm going to put it on our website too. The Perry Unity 6 thing, that's your logo and stuff. To push it out there. I thought I did the other day, but it did not save, because when you're in your website and you're in your back door and you got to publish it, I put it on there, but when I went to look, it's not, so I didn't publish. I'm like, idiot. So I will do it afterwards. Megan with from FHT will be there, and Lauren says, there you go. She's proud of you. And Lauren is just a ball of energy. Patty's like, yep. She's just
first encountered her at last year's Perry Unity.
That's where I met her. We were our booths were right next to each other, and look at us now. We talk a million times a day.
Yeah, I mean, we were walking through the room when she was up on stage doing her presentation, and she had all these kids up there, which normally would make me run for the hills, but the way she had them involved and asking questions, and it was very captivating. And then of course I see her crystal pods, and I'm like, well, sold. So
yeah. Lauren's a speaker this year too. Lauren is speaking, and her presentation's a little bit different this year, and I'm really excited.
I can't wait to see what that's about.
I already said I will be not able to be found from 3 to 4 because I will be listening to Lauren's presentation.
There you go.
Yeah.
You checked out, right?
Yep. It'll be good.
There you go. Hello, Jenny. How are you?
Hi, Jenny.
So a lot of people are chiming in.
We need to get Jenny to book Waverly for us, and then we'll just go with them.
Yeah, we'll just get a group of people to go. And the more we get, how many people is it now that they let you take? Is it 10 or is it 15?
It's 10. It's 10, and then they prorate it past that.
So they drop it. So if you get 10 people, that's $100. What is it now?
I mean, if it's a weeknight, it's $1,000. It's $1,000 for a week, Sunday through Thursday. And then it's $1,500, I think, for Friday or Saturday.
On the weekend, I saw.
Yeah, all the times we've booked it, we've done a Sunday night.
Sunday night is the way to go.
It's worked great, and you can. I think it's $500 more, and you can actually sleep there in a bunk house, but you have to be out by 4 a.m. of the main building.
Out of the main.
But we just booked a hotel a ways down the road or whatever.
Lisa said it's 15 miles from her house. Quit rubbing it in. Sunday night. See, look, everybody wants to go now. We've already got our team.
But it's really, I mean, we've, every time I've gone there and, we've gotten some really good EVPs and responses when asked about my grandfather and sending myself down the body chute as a trigger object with the photo tends to stir up some pretty decent responses. So I have no problem throwing myself to the wolves there.
There you go.
And I can pretend to be the respiratory therapist or the nurse or the doctor too.
There we go. So we can reenact, but this time I'm going to stand behind. Hey, Megan. Yeah. So we need to. Everybody's like, let's go. We need to do that, and like Jenny said, also Mansfield.
Yes, I've been there once. I want to go back.
And Jenny just said she wants to check your place out.
Yeah,
we did. We had a good time. That was a fun day.
Wait, it was you up top, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it you? Yeah, that was you. I was like, who was sitting up there? That was you when we
that was me.
That was you.
We're all downstairs. Yeah. You remember Jim? He was like falling asleep. I'm like, you hear that? That is a strange sound. Someone turned their flashlight on, and Jim's over there, sound asleep, laying on the floor. I was like, Jim. He goes, sorry, I was up all night. Leave it to Jim.
We had a really good Estes session too.
We did have a good Estes session. That's what creeped me out right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenny goes, hey, my Lauren. Everybody loves Lauren. So I really appreciate you coming on tonight, taking time to talk to us. I know you got a lot going on with this weekend. We're going to leave our house about 6:30 in the morning to get there by 8 or so we can do I want to decorate the table too. And if you need our help, we're here to help too. So whatever, just grab us. And we'll see everybody this Saturday. And Theresa, where can people find you? I know you got different like social medias.
I'm all over the place. So my main house page is Freemason to Mansion. That's like our main renovation page, and our group, like Facebook, all of our social media is Trips Paranormal. That's Facebook is the main one, but we do have a TikTok. I don't really update it very often for our house or for our team page. But as far as my house renovation and page is Freemason to Mansion. The Haunted Mason Mansion is all the like paranormal related to my house. And that's where I've been posting more updates. I haven't posted some of the most wild video clips that have happened this summer on there yet, because they will be featured on the TV show.
Oh, you gotta wait. You gotta hold on. Yeah,
have I sent those to you, Lee?
No, share them.
Yeah, those are pretty crazy. Those will be on that. I had to sign those away for the TV show. But other clips and things I do post on that. The Haunted Mason Mansion. I'm considering a rebrand, which is why I changed that name over a little bit there. But yeah, that's mostly where you'll find me on those. And
I want to add to, Theresa's also an awesome photographer, because the Northern Lights, everybody's been seeing them.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
She posted one the other night. She was on the roof of her building, And Patty's sitting down at the end of the couch because I saw your post. Then I saw Philip's. And I get up. She goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going outside. I think the Northern Lights." I couldn't see shit out here. And I'm like, and my neighbor, he posted, he's a photographer as well. He went out about an hour before me. And then the next day he's like, "Oh, here's the pictures of the Northern." I'm like, I didn't get to see him, man. I was bummed.
Yeah, we went up on our roof because it's taller than everything else in our town, and we went up at 8:30, like right after it got dark, with like a little mat, and through like even a 10-second exposure, we could make it out, and I could see the arc with the naked eye, but it was super faint. You couldn't really make out much color. But right at 10 o'clock, all of a sudden we looked up, and it was like, like all of a sudden, like it was just like you saw in the pictures. Like the colors were so, like I had never seen anything like that in my entire life. Like it literally, like the way I felt, like, like when you've been, like you're a kid and you've been crying and you like can't breathe. That is literally, I couldn't make words or sounds or anything. I was just like looking. I had no idea. Like my husband actually took that picture behind me. I didn't know he took that picture of me standing there because I was awesome. Like, I was frozen. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Call the kids," because then we got the kids back up on the roof so they could see it. And I just, it was insane for like 15 minutes.
Bob said the Northern Lights to be available to those who work early too.
Yeah. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So yes, and I had to add that because between you and Philip, and then you guys are talking about the telescopes, and Jim on our team, he's big into astronomy and hit telescopes, and he's part of the conservatory down here in Cincinnati with the big satellite, and this he'll talk your ear off about it over the weekend. They have a place in New Mexico, and he goes like 3 or 4 times a year, and they just do phenomenal pictures out there because the stars, you just reach them out in west. I mean, they're just right there.
Yeah, hopefully I'll actually have time now to get my massive telescope. I just haven't had any time this year to do anything with any of my telescopes. So hopefully now I'm not doing anything like this next year. I will have time to actually use my telescope.
Well, because now is the perfect time, right?
I know, like fall is perfect prime viewing, and so I'll have time next year.
Oh, that's right. And Jenny's a hell of a photographer. We got all these photographers around us. Kim goes, "Sorry, I'm late. I got back and watched. I promise." Yeah, you got to go back and watch it, Kim. If you guys not met Kim and Scott, they are Horn Paranormal Research. They make some awesome equipment. They do a lot for Shane Pittman. They are awesome. I can't wait to get my piece of equipment. Yeah, I think I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get one. But I'm going to need tutorials, because isn't it like you take your camera and you can put it up to the you were talking about that.
It depends. It depends on how much you want to get into it. What Philip uses, like a DSLR camera, I use a little bit different, specialized actual astrophotography camera. So it kind of depends on how deep you want to get into it. I mean, you can, it's so expensive. Like I've sank about 25 grand into my telescope setup.
Oh,
so it's ridiculous. Like hindsight, I'm like, I went a little bit crazy, and I probably shouldn't have spent that much money on it because I have done nothing with it. So, baby steps. Just get a little DSLR and stick it on a little baby telescope. Just start small.
That's
it's absolutely overwhelming. It's a very difficult hobby because it's very overwhelming.
And it's, when we used to do our podcast with Jim and our other team member, in the past, afterwards, we'd go outside. It was a Thursday night, and it's so relaxing and calming just because we never always look up. At nighttime, it's so cool just to look up. Yes.
And just learn your stars.
Exactly. Yes. Just look up.
Yes.
And Jim's like, last 2 weekends ago, we had a public little event here for the local historical society.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about, I walked up and I could see him. There's Neptune. And he was swinging his arms, and everybody's like, "How do you know this?" And he goes, "Oh," he told that lady, he goes, "Oh, honey," he goes, "that is astronomy is my thing."
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I miss Z-Talk too. That's where we had it, Jenny. We had a Z-Talk. And I did get an XLS, yes, from Kim. Oh, wow. She says, Sarah, this weekend with our XLS, and while she was doing her gallery reading, it was, I can't wait to use it. I mean, it's just the SLS on steroids. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait to see what you guys put out from that.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So Theresa, I really appreciate it. We will see you in 3 days.
Oh, it's so close.
You want us to bring mimosas?
I mean, maybe some Fireball.
Oh God, she went straight to Fireball.
You'll see me like behind the table, like
Jello shots in your cooler.
Your flask cleaned up,
kidding.
Yeah,
Just
that's funny.
kidding.
Oh,
It'll be fun. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be so much fun because we're all fun people.
Absolutely, it's all about having a good time.
Yeah, and we're all gonna buy from each other. That's really what happens. We all go there and we want like all these people to come in and buy things when really like that's what keeps it going is we just buy stuff from each other.
That's it, man. I don't mind supporting anyone. I'll wear your stuff.
Yeah.
You know it. Hey, we're all in this together. So the egos has got to go away. We're all trying to learn this together.
Yep.
So thanks again, and we will see you soon, Theresa.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys. You all have a great night, and
All right,
always
thank
keep
you.
looking into the unknown. See you
All right,
guys.
good night. Bye.
Bye.
And end. It's ending. Takes a minute.